St. Louis Blues, little fingerstyle arrangement. Came up with this morning. Had a whole other song planned. And apparently someone went and cut some fiber optic cable. And I was dumb enough to have my lyrics stored online, and I can't access the internet at all right now, so I'm not sure when this video is going to be uploaded. But I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I mean, look, not only is it one of the first blues songs ever recorded, W.C. Handy wrote it. At least it's accredited to W.C. Handy. He certainly made it famous. Some of Handy's work was original and some may not have been, but this one is one we think was written by W.C. Handy. It's kind of idiosyncratic. They're definitely piano based. I mean, you're in key of B flat. It's got a lot of his characteristics to it. I mean, he's the father of blues. He's the first guy to actually copyright something as a blues song. And you may listen to his music now, and it really is more ragtime. This one really is more blues, and such a classic. I mean, people look at, what was the first jazz song ever recorded? And it's going to be, according to most authors, recordings by the original Dixieland Jazz Band, which is why jazz was called Dixieland. A lot of people in the politically correct crowd hate that. I mean, they just get all upset because Dixieland, one, they think it's like the South, and the South must be racist. Well, let me tell you, all American music originates in the South. We invented blues, jazz, country, rock and roll, gospel, funk. Every single form of American music originates in the South. You take away the South, America has no music whatsoever. Okay? First of all, accept that. So I'm really good with the term Dixieland. I'm Southern, I'm proud to be Southern, and I'm proud that our mix of cultures has produced America's greatest art form, which is our music, okay? But they get upset because the original Dixieland Jazz Band was an all-white band. And they say, well, it should have been King Oliver's Creole band. And I agree, yeah, they were certainly better. King Oliver was better. Kid Ory did some early recordings that didn't get released. Should have gotten credit. Jelly Roll Morton, certainly he claimed to have invented jazz, and he had about as big a right as anybody to say that. Also Creole, okay? But, Ken Burns thinks all Creoles are black. Let me tell you, I'm actually part Creole, so, hey, Ken Burns, you're pretty much an idiot. But anyway, the art form of jazz is a combination of black, white, Creole, and other influences. So people don't like to call it Dixieland music because they're like politically correct and they think it ought to just be called early jazz. I have no problem with that. But let me tell you, the first jazz song ever recorded was actually St. Louis Blues by a band called the Club Coon Orchestra. An all-black band. Now, before you get upset, they were an all-black band that called themselves the Club Coon Orchestra. So people that get upset about the word Dixieland because it was named after the Dixieland Jazz Band, y'all ought to count your lucky stars that it wasn't called by a much more offensive name. So anyway, let's get into this tune. Love it, love it, love it. My favorite version is probably Emmett Miller's version. I'm, again, going to be politically incorrect. Emmett Miller was one of the most pivotal figures in American music that has been written out of the history books because he was a blackface comedian. I'm sorry, he put black makeup on his face. So did Al Jolson. Somehow Al Jolson becomes like a legend and a hero, and Emmett Miller, I guess because he was Southern from Georgia, and truly funny, actually. A lot of his humor had nothing to do with race. He was just very funny. Like when they ask him, where are you from? And he says Hepzibah. Now Hepzibah is this tiny little town in Georgia, and it's actually spelled something like Hephziap. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Hepzibah. And he says, how do you spell that? He says, I'm from Rome, Georgia, R-O-M-E, Rome. Okay, so I mean, some of his really was not racial. It was just country humor, and he was actually very funny. His version of St. Louis Blues, absolutely classic. His version of Lovesick Blues became the biggest hit in the world for Hank Williams, who basically copied Emmett Miller's singing style. I mean, he was a mentor to Jimmy Rogers. I mean, he's the forgotten father of not only country music, but white musicians playing more black music, like blues and jazz. Eddie Lang was in his band. The Dorsey brothers were in his band. I can't remember if it was Benny Goodman or Glenn Miller was in his band. And at one point in time, apparently Scatman Crothers, which I love Scatman. I grew up on Hong Kong Phooey. Love Scatman Crothers. He was in his band. So it was apparently some points, a multiracial band in the 1920s. And wow, great version. Bob Wills' version would be my absolute second favorite. Love Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. But let's get into this, okay? And I'll show you maybe some chords and how to sing it here in a minute. It's not it's not a very complicated song, chordally, but it is in the key of B flat, and a lot of times, a lot of people are very uncomfortable playing in B flat. It's actually really easy. B flat is very closely related to F. Anyway, just imagine playing an A and moving it up one fret, and you got B flat. But we actually start in the chord of F. Let's see. And that's just A, C, A, F. And I'm using a 3-note F chord here, which is actually a C chord moved up, if you want to look at it that way. And now we're going to go into our B flat using the F-shaped chord. So, back to F. And I'm going to go to, it goes from F to F7, so I'm going to go like this. Let's see. Those are those Merle Travis chords we talked about before. You don't see those chord shapes played by a lot of musicians, even though they are documented as far back as the McNeil method in the 1920s. He was teaching these. Eddie Lang used them. But for fingerstyle guitarists, mostly a Merle Travis thing, grab it like this. We've got a C, F, what note is that? A? No, wait a minute. A, B, C, D. Oh, that's E. That's the seventh, the flat 7 of the F7 chord. And then we got our A. So, and then reverse it. And that's G, F, no, G, F, I guess E and A again. So, as always, easier to play it than it is to think about it. Back to that B flat out of an F-shaped chord. Just moved it up to the B flat. Nothing fancy there, just sounds good. Hammer on. Back to the F. And then I'm just going to grab an F note up here, or maybe a couple of strings up here, it really doesn't matter. Emphasize that 7 note again. One other thing I did that I forgot to point out, there is actually this little thing. That's just a little rundown on the 5th string, and that actually is part of the original, I guess, orchestration of the song. There's actually, like, almost in parentheses, the piano player would do that little bass run. So let's start over again. We'll go. All right. If you can get that in there in time, keeping in your time pattern, do so. If not, leave it out. Totally optional, but I like it if I can remember to do it. Yep, that's the right one. And then we're going to go to a, it's sort of a C7th, but you're only getting a couple strings. So that's D, F, D, C, right? And then, just keep on there. If you can make that stretch. Now, if your hands are as big as mine, you may not be able to get that. So you could absolutely just play it All right, you do that twice, so run through the same thing again. And then we go to the other really unique part of this song, and one of the things that made it really famous, and it's this rhythm. There was a dance group called the Castles. They're famous for inventing the dance, the Castle Walk, but this was their signature song because they would go into a rumba, which in the early 1900s was a new dance, and everybody was really impressed by it. So you got this like cool bluesy sound, and people weren't used to that. Well, then they start doing a rumba. You just have to figure that rhythm out. Of course, I'm doing this fingerstyle, so the first time I emphasized that, I went, first of all, I go, very simple, just F, G, C. And so I went from the F chord, I went, and it's actually a C6, but don't worry about that. Just, and then, and so mute, I'm doing a thumb mute and a heel mute here. I'm going, that note I actually just throw in there because I like it, but anyway. Back to, and then I just vary. F, G, C again, and then we're going to do a variation on that F chord and go. So that's an A-shaped chord moved all the way up here. So, back to our B7. F. Repeating. We're right back where we were at the beginning of the song. I think this is really good. Now, what chords would I play if I'm singing? I'm going to do one verse of this. Standard chords would be like, you know, F and B flat, wherever you want to play the B flat. I mean, here, I guess. No problem, just A moved up, right? Okay. But we've been playing here, and for comfort's sake, and because I like the sound of it, I've been playing F6. Now, I could play an open F. I love the sound of a 6 in anything with a little jazziness to it, so I'm going to go, I hate to see that evening sun go down. And that allows me to just go straight to that same B7, so I hate to see that evening sun go down. I hate to see that evening sun go down. Cause my baby done left this town. Super simple. It's a C6 chord moved up here. So imagine you're playing an A minor. Bring it up to where it would be an F minor. And drop your pinky down on the F note on the 5th string. You know, we've already been over the B7 out of an F-shaped chord. The other is that C7, just right here. And then when we get to the rumba bit, you go, St. Louis woman with a diamond ring. Same as we did thumb picking. Lead a man around by her apron string. It worked for powder and that store-bought hair. That gal of mine would not have gone anywhere. Got the St. Louis Blues, just as blue, honey, as I can be. I got a heart like a rock cast in the sea. Oh, red she would not have gone so very far from me. And that's it. It's really that simple. I threw one little jazz chord in there, which, like I said, is just an A minor moved up to an F position and dropped the pinky on the fifth. Everything about that, other than that, is pretty straightforward. If you got any questions, let me know. Always email me. You can email me judson@judsoncarroll.com. That's the easiest of my addresses to remember. Or get in touch with me on social media or leave a comment in the YouTube. Do be sure to share the channel. I'd actually like to get up to enough viewers to make a couple bucks off of it, right? Because I do put a lot into it. So now I'm going to see if I can put together a mandolin version of this. So be sure to look for that video. And when I get internet, cable, phone, all that back, hey, at least the power's on this time. 2 years ago, we had a nice little terrorist attack where they went and shot up a power station. We were out of power for several days. No big deal. This time somebody cut a fiber optic line. Beginning to wonder what's going on around here. But one more reason to sing the blues, right? Okay, I had to make the obvious joke. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to you next time.